In the case of Danawodapi of Keta, convicted and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, this House did not treat the conviction as an automatic trigger. When circumstances allowed, when he was granted a presidential pardon, he returned to this chamber on 10th of June 2008 and was permitted to sit and perform duties as MP. His tenure ended with the dissolution of Parliament. In the case of Adamu Dramani Sakandare of Boko Central, the honorable member continued to serve in Parliament for years while the courts determined civil challenges to his eligibility. It was upon his final criminal conviction and subsequent imprisonment in July 2012 that he became legally incapacitated from performing his duty as a member of Parliament. Even as he pursued an appeal, he was granted a presidential pardon in December 2012. In any case, a by-election could not have been constitutionally justified since his incarceration occurred less than 6 months before the 2012 general election. Let me address the case of James Jechi Quayson, which is often mentioned. A clear look at what actually happened shows why rushing on Kpandai is wrong. Here are the facts. Quayson was sworn in and served as MP in January 2021. Even though a court case was already pending, Parliament allowed him to work, just as we have done in other cases. In July 2021, a High Court nullified his election, but even then, Parliament did not immediately declare his seat vacant. The real change came from the Supreme Court. In April 2022, the Supreme Court issued a direct order, an injunction commanding Quayson to stop acting as an MP. And in May 2023, the Supreme Court gave its final judgment, ordering Parliament to remove his name. The lesson is clear. Parliament's decisive action in the Quayson case was not based on High Court ruling alone. It was based on specific final orders from the Supreme Court. Now compare this to Kpandai. Today, we have no order from the Supreme Court. We have no injunction. Instead, we have a High Court ruling that has been formally stayed and is under appeal. To use the Quayson case to justify instant action in Kpandai turns the truth upside down. Quayson's case teaches us to wait for the Supreme Court's final word. In Kpandai, we are ignoring that lesson and acting before the first appeal has even been heard. We cannot use a case that required court intervention to justify acting when the Supreme Court has not spoken at all. The pattern, therefore, Mr. Speaker, is undeniable. This House has always required one of three conditions: the exhaustion of appeals, a final specific order from the Apex Court, the member's own resignation. Article 99 1E of our Constitution is precise. A seat becomes vacant upon a determination by the appropriate judicial authority. Our history proves that a determination is not the first word of the High Court. The final authoritative word after the appellate. Our history Our history proves that a determination is not the first word of the High Court, but the final authoritative word after the appellate process is complete. Our legal system is built on this foundation. The right to appeal is a fundamental pillar of justice. Yet, this House is being urged to treat a suspended, appealed, and contested High Court order as the final, irrevocable command. This violates the Constitution and repudiates our legacy of institutional restraint. Let us be unequivocally clear by acting now. We are not following precedent. We are shattering it. We are declaring that for the people of Kpandai and for Honorable Matthew Nyindam, the historical respect for the process and appellate right is null and void. We are telling the 363,734 citizens whose clear will is not in mathematical that their vote is expendable. We are telling Honorable Nyindam that his constitutional right to appeal, a right exercised by Nyamekan, Sakinde, and Quayson, is meaningless. We are telling the Court of Appeal its pending task is irrelevant. This is not upholding the law. It is a selective, cynical, and historical illiterate application of it. If we proceed, we do not wrong Kpandai today. We establish a toxic new rule for tomorrow, that a parliamentary majority can weaponize a first instance court order to instantly unseat a political opponent, rendering the appellate courts and our own historical practice obsolete. Therefore, the duty of the House is clear. We must, one, acknowledge that a stayed and appealed judgment cannot be considered a final determination, as our history with Dan Abu Dhabi and others confirms. Number two, we defer any action until the appellate process is conclusively complete, respecting the precedent set across decades. And number three, we need to recognize that this premature notification violates the separation of powers, disrespects the judiciary, unjustly disenfranchises the people of Kpandai, and betrays Parliament's own tradition of constitutional caution. And finally, number four, need to withdraw the notice of the Electoral Commission to the Electoral Commission immediately. This is not a partisan plea. It is a call for basic constitutional fidelity and historical consistency. In conclusion, I stand here for the rule of law and for the sanctity of our parliamentary traditions. The notification on Kpandai is historical aberration. It is a violation of the separation of powers. It is a usurpation of appellate jurisdiction, a disenfranchisement of Kpandai voters, a denial of Honorable Matthew Nyindam's rights, and a gross departure from our own settled practices. Accordingly, I submit that this House is constitutionally, legally, democratically, and procedurally bound to withdraw the premature notice issued to the Electoral Commission. Let history record that this Parliament chose the wisdom of its past precedents of Nyamakan, Abu Dhabi, Amwatin, over the rashness of partisan expediency. Respect the stay, await the appeals, honor our history, uphold the Constitution. The people of Kpandai are watching. Ghana is watching. History is watching.
Yeah.
Thank you very
much. Two quick questions. First, are we going to see the minority continue in the stance that government business will suffer if this letter is not withdrawn? And secondly, the chief whip on the majority side say that they are going to refer all of you to the Privileges Committee for the conduct of the How do you respond to this?
I think we have been very clear in our demands. I don't think that we can. This one, the statement is very clear in all our demands. That one, I don't know how it could be. Yes.
We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. So, thank you.
Well, that was the Deputy Minority Leader, Madam Patricia Appiagyei, addressing the media regarding the Kpandai seat vacancy. What she sought to do was bring a historical antecedent to the matter and, of course, suggest that the House is bound constitutionally and democratically, if you like, to hasten with the notice to the Electoral Commission announcing the occurrence of a vacancy in Parliament. She spoke of Adamusa Kande. She spoke of other cases that we've seen in the past and how same was handled between the Supreme Court, that's the judiciary, and Parliament, the legislature. And she says that the current handling of the Kpandai seat is a departure from history. It's a departure from the precedent set, and if it is allowed to continue, will set a bad example, according to her. This has been our coverage of that press conference from Parliament by the minority on the Kpandai seat vacancy. Stay with us here on Channel 1 Television as we bring you updates in our subsequent programming. I am Nanatufo Boateng. Many thanks for your time. Keep watching Channel 1 TV.